Welcome in, everyone, to Picks and Parlays Bettors Edge. This is Week 7 of NFL football. I'm Hannah Mears. That's correct, Trapp. That's Andrew Fillipponi. Make sure you download that Picks and Parlays app, available on all mobile device platforms, to get all of our Picks and Parlays content. Everybody wants to make some money, right? Well, can we make money with the Patriots this week, Pony? The Bills and the Patriots, of course, we had to add them back onto our Sunday slate for you to rant about. But the Bills, 8.5-point favorites at this point in this game. Total 41.5. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with you in this one.
Yeah, I think the Patriots have covered one game this year, and I've been on them every week. So
we got one winner.
Yeah, I got one. Okay. And the worst part about this is I'm taking them again against the Bills because I can't shake them. I can't stop myself. The line is just so big after watching Buffalo struggle against the Giants. New York with Tyrod Taylor in. That offensive line is brutal for the Giants, and yet Buffalo couldn't get consistent pressure. New England, yeah, we know, 1-5. Bill Belichick's in a really bad way. But they played close games at home against the Dolphins and Eagles, and this line is so big. It's like the odds makers are treating Buffalo like the team they were in Week 2 or Week 3. And I do think the public is so out on New England that it inflates the line even more. So, yes, I'm going back to the Patriots well in an AFC East rivalry game with New England's backs against the wall here in this game.
I do think this line is inflated a bit, too, because at least this Patriots defense is somewhat decent at points in the season. Their offense, though, has been virtually non-existent. The only thing I really loved about this game, because that line seemed just a little big to me at times, Bills first half -4.5. If there's anything, I feel like I can trust the Bills to come out until the Patriots and Bill Belichick make some adjustments. The Bills, despite letting me down last week, are still averaging 14.3 points per game in the first half, and New England is second to the last right now in the NFL in points allowed in the first half with 16.3, and only average themselves about 5.5 points on average this season in the first half. So, well, no, this whole season. Sorry, Pony. That's your Patriots right now. But so I'm going to go ahead and ride with the Bills in the first half, -4.5. I think they'll at least start out somewhat hot. But Craig, when you look at this matchup, are you siding with Pony here?
I am. I remember Week 1, Eagles had the ball and a little toe touch out of bounds, or they might win that game. Week 2 had the ball to win the game against the big, bad, mighty offense of the Dolphins. And last week, they had the ball trying to win again, and then, of course, the safety. So to me, those three could have easily been covers, could have easily been wins. If those are wins, and this team is plus 500, what's this line? Probably 6, maybe 5.5. We get the super inflated line, and I would wait till game time because I think you might even get some extra on this one. I'm going to take the Bills plus the points, and like I said, I would wait.
Patriots
plus the points, and I think you might get it like 9.5 because, like you said, the public is so far out on Bill Belichick, and we keep hearing that he's going to get fired maybe at the end of the season, which
Mac Jones too, they can't stand.
Oh yeah, I mean, and how could you argue because the offense has been so bad, but it's Bill Belichick. And, can you trust in two things in football? Bill Belichick? Yes. Tom Brady? Yes. Okay, he's retired, so we're just going to go with Bill Belichick.
Sounds good. Patriots here, huh? Okay, we'll see how this one plays out for you guys. Hopefully better in your favor, but in the second half to keep everybody happy. Lions and Ravens, though, Pony, this is another team you're high on. The Lions, you said last week, very well could be a Super Bowl contender. They're looking like one of the best teams right now in the NFC. They've been consistent week in, week out. The Lions are underdogs heading into Baltimore, a 3-point underdog. Total at 42.5. I'll start off with what I like in this one. I actually like the Lions as an underdog at +3 because I do think they are one of the most solid teams right now, and the Ravens are constantly hit by the injury bug, and they always look really inconsistent. But my biggest reason for liking the Lions at +3 is because I think that the Ravens are going to need a little bit more than just Justin Tucker and some field goals to keep points on the board against the Lions. I understand what the Ravens did, but 6 field goals was what kept them in that game from Justin Tucker. The Lions have been averaging 28 points per game this season, so I don't think the Ravens are going to be able to rely on Justin Tucker and his leg. I really don't. I just could see the Lions at +3 in this one. They're one of the solid teams in the NFC. Give me the Lions at +3, but I know, Craig, I don't know if you agree with this one.
No. I mean, imagine if the Ravens, let's remember, Tannehill was out the second half. So the Ravens were like, we just can't beat ourselves. So we're going to play conservatively. I think several of those short probably would have went for it if it was a closer game. Justin Tucker's a huge weapon for a team that plays a lot of close games. I would buy this down to a 2.5 or even wait till game time because I could see with Detroit being so positive lately and playing so well that you could get that 2, maybe even 2.5 number. But I just think it's hard to game plan for a mobile quarterback. And the Lions, I think, are going to struggle. And I think Andrews is going to continue to have a big game. And Flowers is developing at the receiver position. I think this is a statement win for the Ravens here.
Whose side are you picking, Pony?
I like Baltimore, too. Few things that I think you need to take into account when you make this bet. Number one, do you think that Baltimore's defense is as good as it is because of who they've played against? They've had unbelievable opposing quarterback luck this year. They got the rookie in Cleveland, Thompson Robinson. They got Joe Burrow with his injured calf. Kenny Pickett not completely healthy. Tannehill left the game. Gardner Minshew started against them in a game they lost. So you wonder about that because they have not allowed more than 24 points in a game all year. They've been one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. You're also getting a break, and I sound like I'm making an argument for Detroit, but I'm going to make it for Baltimore in a second. You're also getting a break with the weather here because Jared Goff is so bad in wet games and cold games, and it's supposed to be 60 degrees Sunday in Baltimore, so that helps the Lions too. But ultimately, I come back to the Ravens because they just have this thing about them where they play down to the competition when they know it's an inferior opponent, like an Indy, like a Tennessee, and they get up for games against supposed good teams. Look at what they did in Cincinnati in week 2. Look at what they did even in this game last year. They beat Kansas City. So for me, Detroit, they keep passing tests. But I like them. It seems like the entire world is on Detroit in this game.
Yep.
They're a public underdog. That scares me. I'm going to take the Ravens -3.
I don't know. I might have to ride with the Lions in this one. We'll see who wins.
But you get the public underdog point?
Yeah.
You don't see that a lot.
Yeah. No, you don't. I completely understand that because I think everyone will like that underdog with the Lions, like me and a lot of the thoughts I have, but I just can't trust Lamar Jackson and the Ravens right now.
And when you see an underdog that's getting a lot of action, that's a red flag for me.
I'll take the red flag.
Especially dome teams playing outside. I always think that's tough, too.
Call me the toxic bettor this week. But Steelers and Rams, Pony, I'm just going to go ahead and let you rant about this one because Steelers coming off a bye week. Obviously, a 3-point underdog heading into LA, total 43.5. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the Steelers here. I'm not going to take them on the money line because I do think having 3 points in your back pocket is valuable. So I'll just play them with the 3 points. Tomlin's actually been really good off of buys the last few years. You can go back in the last 5 years. He's winning every game coming off the bye. LA, offensively, Kupp has huge numbers, but they're not translating his production the last couple of games into points. They needed a late score to beat Arizona. They needed a Josh Dobbs red zone interception. I just look at the offensive stats and I think, where are the points with these guys? Plus now, Kyren Williams isn't going to play in this game. He's coming off 150 rushing yards against Arizona. I don't think the Rams can block the Steelers' front, and I don't think Matt Stafford's going to move around enough. He's going to have to get rid of the ball super fast in this game. Add it up, and I think the Steelers will at least lose by a field goal, so take them +3.
The only thing I can be sure about in this game is that the defense for the Steelers will step up. Truthfully, I understand all of the points about where the offense should have been this season, and the Steelers have already burned me after my 9-0 prediction. So I'm just going to say the only thing I like in this game is the under 43.5. I can rely on a defense, especially after a bye week, coming back, and I think they're going to do enough to slow down Stafford and Cooper Kupp because the Steelers won't necessarily have a dominant run game to worry about this week. The Rams have had some issues in their run game, so I think the Steelers, the more that they can focus on eliminating Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua in the past, I think they'll do pretty well with that. The Steelers have not had more than 2 games go over this total so far this season as well. So the unders are trending here. I'll take the under 43.5. Craig, go ahead. Tell us what you like about our AFC North Steelers here.
Well, I mean, I think you can count on one thing. I think there are going to be some boo birds because there'll be plenty of Steelers fans
they'll take over that
LA.
stadium.
And Matt Canada, I think you're going to see a very conservative offense as much as, had a week to prepare. I think you just don't beat yourself in this game. You win if you're the Steelers. That's at least how I would feel if I was the Steelers coaching staff because, like you said, the Rams, it seems like, it's like the Bill Belichick, allow them to move between the 20s, but you just make them kick field goals. It seems like that's what the Rams are trying to do on offense. They get you a lot of yards, great fantasy if you're playing fantasy, but it's not so great if you're trying to cover numbers. I think it's a gift at 3 points. I would even play them on the money line. I think the Steelers easily win this game. I think they'll be able to run the ball enough, even with Darnold there. Or not Darnold.
Aaron Donald,
sorry.
How could you? Pittsburghers will be mad.
Sam Darnold is in San Francisco backing up Brock Purdy.
We might see Watt have one of those games where he gets 3 sacks.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think they're going to take away double team Cup, and
they better.
And I think he's going to be holding the ball. I think it's a big spot for Steelers to get a win here.
Craig, Chiefs are favored at 5.5 with Patrick Mahomes. Everybody loves to watch these quarterbacks go at it, but I think it's safe to say that the Chargers could be a little bit of a head scratcher from where you predicted them to be this season. You predicted them possibly to win it all, at least all of the AFC. So the Chargers sitting as underdogs at 5.5, total 47.5. What do you like about this game in Kansas City?
Brandon Staley. This is still fresh. We're filming this on Wednesday. That Monday Night Football, I had the Chargers and Staley just, as bad as Mike McCarthy is, when Mike McCarthy outcoaches you, you are not very good. And Staley he continues to just confuse, I think, his own team, his fans, me, everybody is like, he'll go for it when he probably should kick the field goal, and then when he should go for it, he just has no clue I think you take the Chiefs here. I know the Chiefs' rushing game has to be a little better, and man, their receivers have to give them more. I think this is the spot they do it. This is the worst pass defense of the Chargers. I think the Chiefs carve them up. Lay the points here. I think the Chiefs roll.
The one thing that I like, I agreed with everything you just said. I want to take the Chiefs in this one. That 5.5 number, though, scares me because the Chiefs haven't really been blowing teams out this season. And against a team like the Chargers, where they do have that situation at quarterback where any day of the week, he could all of a sudden turn it on. He's passing for well over 300 yards. And against someone like Patrick Mahomes, maybe he'll have an edge. I'm going to say take the Chiefs win margin 1-13. I don't feel comfortable with that 5.5. So this gives me a little bit more wiggle room. It also gives me a little bit of plus money value. So I'm going to look at the win margin in this one. I don't think they'll blow out the Chargers, but I don't think they're going to beat them by that 5.5 either. So this will give me that comfortability space. The Chiefs as a whole, like I said, if they were beating teams and scoring 30 points every week up to this point, I'd feel more comfortable with that number. But since I don't, I'm just going to say Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs roll. They look like the more complete team. Take them in that win margin, get some plus money value. Pony.
Can I just say I'm dying for the Chiefs to lose with Taylor Swift there? I'm just so over that whole deal. I'm sorry if there are Swifties that are big Bettors Edge fans. We do welcome them in to the show. But that whole sideshow is, I think, starting to be a distraction for me while I'm trying to watch these games, just bugging the heck out of me. The Chargers, I'm going to say it. I think they're going to go to Kansas City and win the game. I'm going to recommend you guys get a little frisky here and bet the game with the Chargers on the money line. The Chiefs have really dodged a lot of bullets. They're getting all the benefit of the doubt from referees. Calls are going their way. Jets pass interference late. They missed the pass interference in the end zone where the guy took his helmet off against the Vikings. So they have been really lucky. The inverse has happened with the Chargers where they seem to invent ways to lose games every week. You can count on one thing when these two teams play. It's going to be close. Last year, it was both decided by a field goal. The year before, it was an overtime game. I just think when these two teams get together, Chiefs usually win, but it comes down to the wire. I think the Chargers are due in this situation. So, and Hannah hit on it. Kansas City they look a little off offensively. Not that the Chargers look like world beaters, but I think there's value in them plus 5.5, and especially on the money line to win this game outright.
Someone else who looked a little off, and this is for our Sunday night football game, the Eagles did against the Jets. The Jets beat the Eagles. I don't know if a lot of us predicted that to happen, but their defense is proving to be a game changer, keeping them in a lot of these games. But now you're getting the Dolphins +2 coming into this one, right? They're going to be the underdog, and the total sitting at 51.5, which seems like a lot. It's a lot of points, but these teams can put up points. But here's what I don't think is going to happen. I don't think the Eagles offense is going to be able to compete with the Chiefs offense as much as what people might think they will.
Dolphins offense.
Right, with the Dolphins offense, sorry. So, yeah, the Eagles competing with the Dolphins. Pony always catches those things. I know little flubs here, still worried about the Chiefs, but I think the Dolphins money line is my best play in this one because you're going to get maybe some plus money value. Add that into a parlay. I think this could be a really good bet this week. I do. The Dolphins are averaging 37 points per game this season. Now I know they have that 70-point game that skews this a little bit, but they can put up points and they have explosive players against an Eagles team where their offense struggles a bit, averaging 25 points per game, where some of us as Steelers fans would like to see that total on our side. I get that. But against this Dolphins team right now, I just think you're going to have to put up points to beat them, and you're going to have to be explosive. And after what I saw with the Eagles' performance with Jalen Hurts struggling this season, I'm going to have to take the Dolphins. Pony, you're shaking your head a lot over here.
Well, I just think it's a huge opportunity to bet the Eagles with value in this game. Number one, I think that there's a considerable home field advantage. It's going to be a night game. We saw what happened to Miami when they went to Buffalo in a situation where they were in a raucous environment. I thought they were a little overwhelmed by that. And Philadelphia is going nuts right now with everything that's going on with the baseball team there, too. And now Miami comes in as a contender. So I think that's just going to be a red-hot atmosphere at that game that helps Philadelphia. And then the other thing with Miami is just look at them this year. Objectively, they've really only played one good team, and that was the Bills, and they lost by 4 touchdowns. Everything else has been done against cupcakes. And even the last 2 weeks, slow start against the Giants where they had a pick 6. And then Carolina, they got down 14-0. Now, they kicked it into a different gear after that. But this is such a step up in weight class, Craig. 2 is a dead number. I love that I get to lay 2 at -110 and feel like all the Eagles need to do is win the game.
Pick a side here, Craig.
It's easy. Eagles. Eagles' defensive line is going to absolutely dismantle Tua. Tua does not like to get hit. Remember what's happened in his recent history with concussions? He's going to be doing, short passes. And the Eagles, the one thing they can do is tackle. If you could protect, I think there's a chance. I just don't think they can. And I think you keep the ball away from Tua with the great run game of the Eagles. I think this is easy. And think
it's an angry team, too, after losing that Jets game.
If they would have won last week, this line would be 3.5. But because of the loss, now you get them. And like you said, these fans, it's a different level in the evening on prime time in Philly. And that's just too much for Miami. Give me the Eagles here.
All right, it's a lot of you guys versus me this week. Look at this.
We're ganging up, Hannah.
I know. Gang up on me. Let's go. I love this. Steelers-Rams under is going to be my best bet in the week. Really quickly, Craig, we'll start with you. What is your best bet?
Easy. I have 2 best bets. So the one you can get over at the app, but this one, Commanders. Easy. Giants, yes, they played a little better last week, but I thought it was a lot more of Buffalo being kind of overlooking them. Take the Commanders minus the points. I think this is an absolute gift.
A gift for the Commanders. Pony, do you have any gifts for our bettors?
Kind of. I wish I would have given out my upset special on the show last week, which was Jets over Eagles. Somehow that escaped my brain when I was sitting here staring into this camera. I didn't give that one out. I gave out a loser instead. So I'm going to flip that. I'm going to take the Broncos money line over the Packers at home. They're a very small underdog. Don't even take the points. Just pick them to win. They have not covered a spread all year. Hannah's favorite Broncos. I think they go and host Green Bay. The Packers, to me, are living off reputation here, what they did previously with Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur. I think Jordan Love has really struggled. The Broncos' defense, which had been in shambles all year, really stepped up against Kansas City a week and a half ago. If they get anything close to that defensive performance here, they're going to win this game by double digits. In Mile High, in Denver, I'm taking the Broncos.
Double digits. My Lord, let's not get crazy here. But that's our specialty here on Picks and Parlays Bettors Edge. I'm Hannah Mears. That's Craig Trapp. That's Andrew Fillipponi. Download that new Picks and Parlays app for all of our content. And thanks for tuning in.